sure all of you have heard about the brigade. And he's going to tell us a little about what's going on. This is Sergeant James Stroh of the 33rd Infantry Brigade.
Check the mic.
What if you said where I'm sitting right now? Oh, she's got it.
Can everybody hear me okay? I am Sergeant James Stroh. Just returned home with Colonel Hastings from Afghanistan. So, first and foremost, I want to say thank you very much for this honor, because this is a true honor to me to be able to come here this evening and address all of you. I call all of you heroes from your generation, because had it not been for your generation, I myself would not be able to wear this uniform. And to me, it is a distinct honor. It is not a right, it is a privilege to wear this uniform. And for all of you that went before myself, I can't even begin to thank you enough. So, thank you for allowing me to wear this uniform that I love to wear, the uniform that I wear with pride, and the uniform of the greatest country on this earth. You guys left a distinct mark during World War II. What I'd like to discuss a little bit this evening is the mark that we left on history in Afghanistan. The names have changed, and if I mispronounce these, please forgive me. The names have changed: Sargon, Somme, Luzon, and New Guinea to Kabul, Khost, Bagram, and Kunduz, Afghanistan. The 33rd Infantry Combat Team was Task Force Phoenix, headquartered outside of Kabul, Afghanistan. But we as a task force were spread throughout all of Afghanistan. Our primary mission was to train the Afghan security forces, the Afghan Army, and the Afghan police. It was a daunting test, and our men and our women succeeded in greatly, above and beyond all. The 33rd Infantry Combat Team first arrived in Afghanistan. The first parts of them arrived in August of 2008, with the last of us arriving in December of 2008. For the most part, we are now all home, thank God. But the deployment, such as your deployment, will live with us forever. I truly believe that our mark has been left with the Afghan people. There are many things accomplished during this tour, things that you will never read about in the newspaper or hear about on the evening news. It's much more popular to talk about negative news than it is the good news. So I'd like to tell you about the good things that we accomplished in Afghanistan as a 33rd Combat Team. As a brigade, we were spread throughout 226 bases and outposts. Some of us having the pleasure of running water in toilets, others living pretty much as the Afghans themselves live, a hole in the ground. As a task force, we helped reduce the poppy crop production by discovering and burning 11.2 tons of poppy seeds. We assisted with 19 road projects, helped dig 135 wells for clean water, assisted in building 12 medical clinics and 15 schools. Along with that, we also repaired 14 civic and cultural centers for the Afghan people. While we were there, many unexpected things happened, such as earthquakes and floods. And I can tell you, at 1 o'clock in the morning, when your rack is shaking, there's problems going on there. We provided 200 emergency tents for flood and earthquake victims in northern and eastern Afghanistan. We provided over 2.7 million pounds of humanitarian assistance distributed throughout all of Afghanistan, plus providing medical assistance to remote villages. Some of these villages have never ever seen a doctor before. All this done, but that wasn't even our primary mission. Like I said earlier, our primary mission was to train and equip the Afghan security forces. Excuse me. Task Force Phoenix was made up of 2,700 Illinois soldiers, but fighting alongside us were active duty Army members as well as Marines. Altogether, the task force is about 7,000 strong, led by Brigadier General Stephen Huber, Colonel Scott Taylor, soon to be Brigadier General, and Colonel Paul Hastings, our Chief of Staff, whom you will hear from later this evening. We assisted the Afghan Army and police by training and equipping them with uniforms, weapons, and anything else that is needed to sustain a security force. I firmly believe that the Afghan security forces are much stronger and professional because of what we instilled in them during our time in country. In this, we did take a toll with losses. As a task force, we lost 43 members. 18 of those members are from the state of Illinois. We sent many more home wounded, but we continued the fight, and we held our heads up high. With our command never allowing our morale to dwindle, the command did everything that they could to keep the morale of its soldiers high by celebrating the holidays, having Super Bowl parties, and many other events to help all the soldiers to remain as a family. As all of you well know, when you deploy, the hardest part is leaving your family behind. Your family and your friends while you're in country. Your fellow soldiers become your family. Yes, I know here in the Super Bowl party can raise some eyebrows. We had these neat things called TVs, computers, email, things that you guys had no idea what that was. But we also had snail mail as well, which I know all of you can certainly relate to. And through the snail mail, we got a bunch of goodies from back home, family members, friends, even complete strangers that we never even met before in our lives, sending us, Slim Jims, phone cards, and things of that nature, so that we could call them. Now you hear on the news how the support for the Afghan war is dropping. It's funny because I certainly didn't see any of that in the faces of our soldiers. We support and will continue to support our efforts because we know what we are doing over there is needed. The Afghan people need us, and not only does the United States need our boots on the ground, the world needs us there as well. We're keeping the world safe from terrorists, that if we were not there, they would be free to commit their acts of terrorism anywhere. Trust me, and I mean this with every beat of my heart. In this game, I'm very happy to be the visiting team and not the home team. I would rather be fighting them in their backyard and not ours. I will close now and thank you again for giving me this honor to speak to you. Although our missions were different, we are still the 33rd Brigade. And we wore the Golden Cross, and we wore it with pride. We're in the Golden Cross. We have now all become one, merging two historic deployments together, our deployment and yours. I hope that we have made all of you proud with our service in Afghanistan. And I believe that we continue the long lineage of the 33rd Brigade proudly. And I would like to ask you for your permission to allow all of us into your family. Thank you, and God bless all.